Hello, I am Lawana Parker with LawanaSpeaks.com, your host for this afternoon's interview. I am excited and honored to be interviewing a man who has made a difference in our community. Gerry Gos Simpson is the owner of Gos Art Gallery Studios. He is a self-made man who does not sit around feeling sorry for himself because he didn't have the letters behind his name. He is a man who sets goals for himself and learns how to recognize opportunities when they come along. Today, he will share some of his stories and why he came to Sacramento in the first place, and a little bit about his first love. Gerry, I am so honored that you gave me this opportunity for this interview. And before we get started on the interview, tell us what brought you to California and to Sacramento in particular.
One day, I get this phone call on the intercom and it says, "Gerry, there's these people waiting at the door for you." So I go down there, there's like 35 to 40 people waiting for me to take this tour. Well, I give the class the tour, everything went great. 1 year later, the lady called me back and wanted to know, she asked me did I remember who she was, and I told her I did. And she said, how would you like to teach at American River College? And I told her, well, to be honest with you, I don't have a degree in anything. She says, well, that's not what I asked you. How would you like to teach at American River College? So I said, well, you know what? I'd like to teach at American River College. So I went for the interview, and I taught at American River for 10 years after that.
Wow. Just goes to show you.
All you got to do is try something.
There you go. And work hard. So now that you are going back to your first love, designing and sewing clothes, what made you decide to recreate and start this new career again?
Well, I've been involved with helping build fashion in Sacramento for the last 10 years. So I've been involved with Fashion Week. Like I said, I was a part of creating fashion in Nordstrom and stuff like that. I went to Fashion Week about 2 years ago, and when I went there, I was caught off by the fact that everybody seemed like they were doing evening gowns. So I said, where I come from New Jersey, 20 minutes out of Manhattan. Fashion always has some kind of edge, it has some kind of boldness to it. So this particular year I wore a shirt I had created out of cut-up jeans I had made. And the shirt was inspired by daishiki, but I dressed it up by wearing tuxedo pants, and I had my fedora hat on and my scarf, and I showed up at this Fashion Week. Well, by the time the fashion show was over, I said, okay, I think it's time for me to design clothes again. And in thinking about what I was going to do, I was going to have my art put on my fabric. But that turned out to be very expensive, so I said, well, what could I do that would be creative that would make something happen? And I started reading this article about how fashion had become the second most highest polluter in the world. And so I said, well, what could I do to help turn that around a little bit? Because why did it become a top polluter? People don't buy clothes as investment as they used to. You should buy a suit, and the suit lasts for your whole lifetime. You buy a suit right now, wear it a couple times, don't even have shape no more. So most clothes end up in a landfill. So I was sitting in my studio looking out the door, and I started noticing that everybody that walks past my studio has on jeans in some form or fashion. So I put out a call, and I asked people can I have any jeans that they don't want? At first, nobody answered. And then one day I came to my studio and there was this box outside my door. Somebody had left me a tote full of jeans. And that was the beginning of it. And so it has gone on to the point where I was featured in a magazine out of New York City for my jeans and stuff like that. So this year, I'm taking my show to another part of Sacramento, which almost feels like I'm in another city because how Sacramento time tends to stay on one side or the other, So it's going to go downtown, and I'm going to do something different. I've added some new pieces. It's going to be exciting.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your collection. As a matter of fact, have you thought about giving us just a little bit of a peek at what you're doing?
She just got her peek.
Well, that's great. Thank you for that tiny little peek there. There are many people who have expressed a dissatisfaction with the jobs that they're on, things that they're doing. They're not really happy. And it occurred to me that maybe we should be thinking about doing something on our own. What would you suggest people do? Should they just stay on that job for 30, 40 years like we used to?
I worked at Nordstrom for 12 years. And that's 2 years over what my limit usually is. I usually stay on a job for 10 years and I'm on to something else. But I happen to stay at Nordstrom for 12 years. And in that time, things had me starting to wonder about what I can do in other times. So at night when I go home, I paint. I was going to paint. And so as I worked my 9-to-5 job at Nordstrom in the daytime, I was building and developing a career for myself at night. Okay? So, I suggest to people, ask yourself, what do you like to do? I wouldn't suggest that you quit your job right away, but do things in your special time, in your own personal time, that you could do for yourself. So in other words, I work 8 hours for Nordstrom. Between the time I got off of work from Nordstrom and when I went to bed, those hours are dedicated to me becoming who I needed to be.
Well, I'm going to pan around here for a second because you mentioned about the art, and he does have some beautiful pieces here that he himself have done. I just want you to take a look at it, because you might want to come by and you see something that catches your interest. I'll come back so you don't get
caught a glimpse.
Just a glimpse, just a glimpse. And he also does jewelry. There's some beautiful pieces here, beautiful colors. What did you call this
This is
material?
made of resin.
Resin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are gorgeous. Wow, just beautiful. That would go beautifully with a dress I have at home. Hint, hint. Yes, this is just great. And this is all your work.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is fantastic.
So I spent the last 18 years painting in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 years, I'll be celebrating 20 years of painting in Sacramento. So I just decided to do something different. The clothes are like my art as well. So if you're not hanging my art on the wall, hang it on your back.
Well, your fashions are going to be on the show on the 22nd. Could you tell us a little bit more about the event, how you became a part of it, and being able to show your designs?
As I said, Fashion Week is this month in February in Sacramento. It's been now going on for the last 10 years, so it's developed itself a name. And so for, I think the beginning, like during the week of the 20th, it's Fashion Week. So all these events go on during the week of the 20th. Now, the event that I'm going to take part in is called Fashion on Film. It involves fashion, movies, art, makeup, hair, photography. It just brings all the visual creative elements together. Filmmakers in Sacramento put together short films and they compete. Fashion designers are going to have 4 different fashion designers there. They're going to be models all over the place. So you got to understand, fashion comes alive in Sacramento in the month of February.
So it's open to anyone?
It's open to anyone.
And how would someone go about getting a ticket?
You can go on www.sacramentofilm.net.
Okay.
And that's where the tickets are available at.
Okay, www.sacramentofilm.net.
Yes.
Okay.
And get them fast because this type of place will sell out. They will sell out.
Great. I understand there might just be standing room only if you don't get your tickets fairly fast. Well, is there the address you have for?
The address is 723 S Street, and the place where it's being held is called the Beatnik Gallery.
Okay. Thank you.
Beatnik Studios. Excuse me.
Beatnik Studios.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen, Gerry, it has been a pleasure to listen to you share your story. Before we leave, tell us, our listening audience, your address of your business and whether or not they can come down here and get some of your artwork.
Okay, well, this is Gos Art Gallery Studio. I'm at 1825 Del Paso Boulevard, 95815. You can go to my website at gerry-simpson.com, or you can visit me on Facebook. Or you can visit me on Facebook at Gos Art Gallery Studio.
Great. And I understand you blog on Facebook, too.
Yeah, I talk a little bit every once in a while.
Well, I've heard you speak before, and I know you have some fantastic things to share, and people need to hear I'm hoping those pearls of wisdom that you put out
doing
there.
More talking this year,
Great.
2018 is a year that I said that I was going to let go some of my books and things like that. So hopefully, with the books coming out.
Oh, you didn't mention that. You've written some books as well?
I have them in. They're waiting in the wings. I just have to set them free.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Well, that's it for now. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to spend this with us and enjoy Gerry as he tells his story. We need to hear more stories like his, and I know there are more out there. But if you know someone who's has something that you feel needs to be shared, just go to LawannaSpeaks.com and leave me a message, and I'll try to contact them and put them on Facebook as well. So with that, I just want to say thank you all again, and
Thank you.
especially you, Gerry.
I appreciate
And
it.
until next time, take care.
Take care of yourself as well.